Oh, the here. SPY making a little bit of a bounce here now, back up above the VWAP again. Very, really no momentum to speak of in either direction right now. Q's trying to make a move up. GEV looking pretty nice. IONQ that Marilyn pointed out, really a nice move in this one today. Really strong, good relative strength. RGTI breakout, yeah, that's a nice one, that Joe. I saw that one. It's breaking over above $12.70 here. It's got a gap fill that's been into before. It's never completely filled it on RGTI. There's the move right there. It's kind of the gap fill, but I noticed it's been into the gap a couple of times, and I was trying to go back into it again. I never really completed it, but moved up through it a little bit. It's kind of right at it right now. Probably it could be a decent strangle or a straddle through here on RGTI. Core weave pulling back pretty hard here right now. 111.79. Still very bullish here on the daily chart. Putting in basically a doji sandwich setup. Q's trying to move a little bit. Did Alfie come out?
No.
He was out earlier. He got his cookies, I'll tell you that. Sarang, if the SPY makes a lower high, would I expect to retest the low? This is very choppy action here. We haven't seen. You're talking about making it a lower high than this and then pulling back down again. This is just chop. This is low probability trading environment. This is just no direction at all. Gap down, move up, move down, move up. We're just moving right back and forth above and below the VWAP. It's pretty hard to see any direction in this market at all right now. The Qs were a little bit stronger. They just noticed they're just moving sideways below the pivot point right now. Again, I'm still in KHC short, looking for get some more movement to the downside of that one. It's kind of moving sideways right now. ENPH just drifting sideways. Coral Weave right now pulled right back down to 1/3, almost to the VWAP. Now it's trying to bounce again. Ari pointing out NNE is bouncing. Yep, that's nanonuclear. NNE and SMR, which is when we had for about a 50% gain a couple of weeks ago, also looking strong here this morning. And NNE with a pretty big pop here. It does have resistance at the 100, just above where it is. It's bounced off the 8 this morning and the 15 this morning. SMR got a little bit more room to the upside than NNE does, but both of them bouncing pretty nicely. Here's the NNE chart. Right there. Again, there's a 100-day in a horizontal right there. And here's the SMR chart again. This is the one we had a nice 50% gain on, bouncing back above this horizontal and above this VWAP again. I'm done VWAP above this algo line right here, this green yellow line right here, with room to about 26.67, about $2 to the upside potential in SMR. Here's NNE that Harry was talking about, again bouncing up this morning. I don't like the chart as well as I like the SMR chart, but I mean both of them are fairly strong right now today, as you can see. Look at that move there. SMR looking similar. Cool Weave still not doing much here. SPY coming right back to the pivot, to the VWAP again. Just not much going on here. Very, very sluggish market. Not much volume at all. And PH moving sideways now. Baidu just moving right along the VWAP. Not much here. KHC moving sideways. Just we need to pull back some more. It's doing okay. We got plenty of time on that one. Palantir moved up some more. Up to 125. I may regret taking that, closing that down. So we'll see. It's up to $28 a contract now to get out of that spread. 28, 29 cents. So 29. I get out of 20. It's 28 right now. A lot of compression going on right now in a lot of stocks. ENPH compressing. Baidu compressing. Core Weave been pulling back, continuing to pull back toward the VWAP. He was out for a while. Coming up on about 11:20 here. Market doing nothing, absolutely nothing. Just back and forth, above the VWAP, below the VWAP. This is just terrible trading conditions. This is low probability trading environment. Absolutely. Triple Q's also core weave with a pullback and right to the VWAP and trying to bounce again. KHC, our short. Still just kind of compressing right here. ENPH, one of our straddles, or a straddle, just compressing. And Baidu also just compressing. Palantir still moving up. Again, I may regret taking that off. Right now it's $32 a contract. 32. Yeah, we paid about 85 cents, $85 for that. So it's quite a nice move in that one this morning. And it could keep moving. I mean, it's 120. It's almost 126 right now. So Palantir making a very, very nice move here. Palantir moving strong here. 126. Moving off this 15 right here. I took some calls in Palantir for next week just to have something, since I closed that position down, which was looking more and more like a big mistake. I get out for $20. They're going at 35 right now. A very ugly market. You're right about that. That's wrong. This is very, very ugly. Palantir has very good relative strength. Market's not doing anything. It's just chopping around. I'd like to see KHC start to come back down again, as well as the NPH. The NPH starting to get a little bit of a downside move here. Baidu just doing nothing. Very compressed market. Let's see, get any questions here? It's about 11, coming up on 11:30, 11:26. No direction in the market, really. You can see it's just chopping around here. CoreWeave back to 108. Well, 109. Pretty big pullback in CoreWeave here. Pullback about $8. Very, very volatile stock. RGTI that was called out here earlier. Really moving up beautifully today. Really nice move. IONQ. Maryland had that one. Look at this thing go. Very nice move in that IONQ. It's right through resistance. 42.81 resistance, went right through it. Hard to chase though. SPY just right on the VWAP here, just moving back and forth across the VWAP. Triple Q's, it's doing the same. It's trying to get KAC. It's bouncing here. We need to get it to pull back some more and get a lot of time on KAC. Palantir, still looking very strong here. Again, I took that off, and I may regret that. I already do regret taking that off. I could have got almost double what I got for it. So I did buy some calls on it for next week just to mitigate that if it continues up. ENPH just kind of drifting sideways, still coming down a little bit. Baidu not doing too much. A very disappointing movement in Baidu. So we have to wait to see if we see something. Again, it's a news-driven market. Right now, we're not getting any kind of direction at all. This is definitely a low probability trading environment. It's an LPTE. CoreWeave off the low. CoreWeave get down to about $108, just bounced up $3, one candle. Very, very volatile stock. Is the market. Follow the bouncing ball. It's just not going anyplace. SPY on the daily chart got up to the 8 this morning, came right back down. It's just sitting right near the bottom of yesterday's candle. Just wedged in here between tiny little support and resistance levels. Just nothing to see here. Triple Q's pretty much the same. They went right down to the 8 and bounced. Now the market's trying to bounce again, moving up toward the pivot point. High is right up, and I think right up in here. Yep, right there's the high, about 585, which is just above the 8 exponential, which is below the 8 exponential moving average. High for the SPY today. Oops. 585.17. 8 exponential moving average on the SPY is 585.09. So basically it went right to the 8 and stopped. So where the 8 is, right up around here. And then you get your pivot point here. First trim, 25% RGTI. Nice joke. Yeah, it's beautiful to move. It's pulling back just a bit right now, but it's had a really nice run this morning. RGTI with a really nice run up. It's starting to pull back just a bit. Here's your SPY. Still not going anywhere. Hoping for a flush so you can break even on your puts. Yeah, time decay is going to eat them. Are you talking about the puts on the SPY? Shipe saying CLS and ALAB. Yeah, the SPY puts. Yeah, I know. We need to get a pullback in it. It's gonna bleed time away pretty quickly. I'm just kind of watching to see what happens here. I'm probably going to take them off at a loss because I don't see anything. But you never know. I mean, all you need is one little blurb of news to drive the market up or down. CLS long and ALAB. Stira Labs. Yeah, going back a little bit. It's a semiconductor company. Recent high it's just got through this morning. And CLS as well. So that's Celestica. Also a nice move up. Very choppy right now though. Palantir pulling back. CoreWeave also pulling back below the VWAP. SPY just not doing much. Palantir back down to about 125. All right. Hey, good morning, NWMB. Sorry I haven't been over to the, haven't looked at the YouTube right away. What's my play on CRWV? I took a call debit spread on CRWV. 114, 117. It was up to around almost 116 earlier. Now it's pulled back to 109. Very volatile stock, this thing. I would not recommend it for people because it's very, very volatile. The daily looks like a momentum setup. Yeah, it's there. The daily is very strong, but it's getting extended. I mean, it's extended from the 8 for sure. That's why I did a debit spread on it. The options are very expensive, so a debit spread makes it pretty cheap. I think it cost me about $1.30 for a $3 spread. So that's pretty reasonable. $140, $170. No. 114, 117, 140, 170. The Qs right up to the pivot point where they've been for quite a long time. There's no volume driving this market at all either. Very, very low volume today. SPY volume today at 23 million. Average is about 80 million a day, and it's coming up on lunchtime. Yesterday had big volume, of course, off that bond auction. Yesterday's volume was 95 million on the SPY, which is well above the average of about 80. You didn't see those strikes on TOS? The 114, 17. I'm sorry. Let's revisit that core week. Yeah, 114, 117. Yeah, they get strikes every dollar. You might have to increase the number of strikes that you show on your options chain. About 11:15. I'm going to take my SPY puts off in a minute here. I'm just going to see if I get one more pullback toward the VWAP. If I do, I'll take it off when it gets down there. core weave with a bounce here. Again, this thing is really, really volatile. Pretty crazy. But moving back up toward 113 again. I took a loss on my SPY puts. I took a loss on them. It could pull back down again some more, but again, I got time decay is going to start ripping these things on these because I got 582 puts on these. So you know, they're out of the money by $1.60. So not only got time decay problems, I've got the fact that they're the time decay is on the entire premium. So anyway, I'm out of those things. I get $85 a contract when I get out. WMP and these horizontal levels, do I draw them manually? Yes, I draw them manually. I don't know of any automation to do that. Those are the high volume horizontal levels. SPY coming back down again. There's just no pace in this market at all. I took my loss on my SPY puts. Not necessarily because it may go down some more. It's just they're out of the money, and I'm just getting time decayed on them. So I'm just going to go ahead and take them off, which I did already. When you WMB, is there any way to do it in TOS? I don't know. I don't chart with TOS. I mean, I use them from a SPY super system here, but my charting is done in TC 2000. Here, say Cruz. Hey, I'm having trouble with entries for day trades. I don't know how to reconcile the idea that a stock is supposed to have relative strength with the idea that you should buy in a pullback support. Okay, let's say SPY is bullish and the stock is pulling back to VWAP. Wouldn't this mean the stock has relative weakness? But if the stock has relative strength, then wouldn't it be at the high of the day from support? I mean, you know, stocks gain and lose relative strength. What you're looking for is a stock that's had relative strength. And yeah, it could lose relative strength if the market's moving strong and it's pulling back a little bit. What you're looking for is a stock that had relative strength. It comes back to the VWAP, for example, or the 15 EMA, bounces off of there and confirms that the bounce is good. then that becomes a good entry. You know, on a day like today, with this market doing nothing, anything that had relative strength is a good stock. You know, Palantir is still a good stock here. CoreWeave is still a good stock here. You know, they would well, relative strength comes and goes on these during the day. You're not going to have it all day long generally, but you look for a pullback. You know, this CoreWeave pullback here to the VWAP. Palantir pullback. Whoops. Pullback to the VWAP like this. Tesla. That's what you want to do, and you know your point is well taken. The stock could have lost a little bit of relative strength if it's pulling back. But the point is, if it's got relative strength and it's the SPY's moving up and the stock's moving up, and you're a long way from resistance, you've got way too much risk if you try to take it there. You might feel like that's the best thing to do because the stock keeps moving higher, but your risk is way higher than it would be if it comes back to the pivot point or to the VWAP. I mean, and bounces off the VWAP. Now, if it breaks down below the VWAP and remains with losing relative strength, then you can take your loss, but it's going to be very small. If the stock moves up high and you're chasing it high and it starts to reverse, what are you going to do? You're going to wait for it to pull all the way back to support and take a big loss on it, or are you going to get out as soon as it starts to head down? So that's why it's done like that. You know, stocks can have relative strength, you know, without being moving up all the time. If the SPY is moving sideways or down a little bit, and the stock is moving sideways or barely moving up, it has relative strength, and it could easily pull back to the VWAP. You know, again, the point's well taken, but the point is, it's much better to take trades when they're bouncing off of a support level, or bouncing up to and coming back down if you're going short. SPY really not doing much of anything here. Neither market's not doing anything. Q's just moving sideways. Sarang, ENPH, 39 is a magnet on it right now. Yeah, it's trading pretty close to the 39. Again, we'll see what happens with this. It has have some price movement, so I'm okay with holding on to that. Coming up on 12 o'clock. Very slow market today. Slow volume, low volume. It's grinding up here right now, the SPY, but really not making much progress. It's again really hard to stay disciplined and sit on your hands when you got a market like that. Yeah, I mean, this has been being patient is. It's like I have this in caps down here. Be patient. Having patience is sticking to your methodology. In other words, be disciplined. And when you get a low probability trading environment like this today, you've got to be really cautious. Take small size. Don't take a lot of trades. I've taken. I did this ENPH straddle that I took. Again, you notice that this is non-directional. ENPH it's a non-directional trade. So, Baidu is a non-directional trade. I do have a directional trade on KHC, which I still like as a short here. And we got a little bit of time on KHC. But it's still a nice short setup on KHC. This is the KHC chart right here on daily. Again, I'm focusing on the daily chart for taking trades, except for SPY super system trades. GEV, this is a nice setup here on this GEV, a nice setup long. IONQ is also a nice setup, but it's extended at this point. Too extended from the 8, went right to that support level, went through it, a little white line, and then pulled back a little bit from it. But ENPH was a big gap down today, and so I took this as a straddle, and I also have a strangle on Baidu, looking for either a continuation of the downside or a big bounce. So we'll see what happens with that. But you can't really do too much in this market. Lunchtime is pretty much a lunchtime here, and I'll give it about another 10 minutes, and I'm going to take some lunch. But this is a hard market to trade. These have been very hard markets to trade, as I've been saying for a good long time. We're squeezing out wins here each month, but it's a big challenge, a very big challenge. Is Fannie Mae here, where they're starting to move up again. Talk about privatizing Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac. Big move up this morning, up 28%. Then pull back. You can see gap up here, pull back. Now it's trying to recover. SPY starting to move up again. Again, I took my loss on my SPY puts. I closed out Palantir. After that pullback in Palantir, that debit spread didn't work, so I took that off. Took a loss in that. IBM is I've got to wait to see what it does at the end of the day. It's just trying to bounce a little bit here right now. I want to see it get above the 8 exponential moving average on IBM, which is at 261.47. So about a buck higher. Closes above the 8. I'm going to hold on to it because it'll be a nice PBO pullback opportunity. Tesla. Tesla's been pretty resilient today as well, but again, a lot of chop here. Core weave with a pretty substantial bounce. Again, I got the 114, 117 call debit spread on core weave. It's approaching 114 again. Paid $1.30 for that. It's at $1.25 right now. All right, GRAL, another biotech. Yeah, we've talked about this one. You've talked about this one before. GRAL, yeah, moving up beautifully today, up about almost 10%. GRAL, it's in a, I mean, it's in a, you know, I would consider this like a compression right now. This whole, it's a bull flag. You see the big bull flag here, but just kind of moving sideways and getting a little bit of volume today, not an awful lot, but I'd be looking for a breakout on this thing. But yeah, it's a nice move in it today. Thing moves, I mean, these are pretty big moves. This is a 10% move in this candle. And there it is, the chart on the thing. Big move up, big pull down, starting to move back up again. It's about halfway up through this big rally here. But yeah, it's setting up like a, kind of like a PBO, just kind of moving sideways, technically. Right, trying to grind up higher here. All right, I'm going to get some lunch. It's about 12:10. I'm going to grab something to eat and come back and watch the market. Lunchtime? Yes, it is going to be lunchtime. Do I have a rule of thumb when considering if a strangle is cheap or expensive? Yeah, I've done videos on how to do these straddles and strangles. You need big volume. You need a stock with big volumes, likely to move. It's not running. It's not compressing for an hour on the 5-minute chart. And what you pay for the straddle or the strangle should be well less than the ATR, well less than the average true range of the stock. Okay, going to go ahead and close down YouTube. Thank you very much for being here today, everybody. Appreciate it. And I'm going to get something to eat, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, Friday. We'll be back here about 11:15 tomorrow. Again, long weekend, remember now. Monday's a holiday, so only a 4-day work week next week. And I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend if I don't see you between now and then. And again, I'll be back with the YouTube feed tomorrow around 11 o'clock. Okay? Have a great afternoon.